Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia. I am a second year vet student and I decided it would be fun to start a YouTube channel to basically share some tips and suggestions that I may have to help people and make their life a little bit easier in terms of applying to vet school and starting vet school. This is my first YouTube video, so that's kind of crazy. I basically wanted to just kind of jump right into things because it's the end of June and I know a lot of you guys are starting to work on your personal statements. A lot of you guys may be done, good for you, but I know that, the application is due, I think September, and so I personally did not start writing any essays until about this time. So I have 5 tips, and basically at the end of the day, I want each and every one of you to be able to get accepted into vet school. So my first tip is to basically start off with 2 to 3 life events that have been really significant to you and your journey and your process to applying to vet school. So these can be really high highs or also really low lows. At the end of the day, I think it's really important to show the committee that you are able to be vulnerable. And that kind of goes into hand with, like, if you have experienced challenges or setbacks, I do think that it's important to kind of include those because they have shaped you for who you are, whether you realize it or not. And it's really important because you are now applying to vet school, so clearly you have overcome some of those challenges that you may have experienced along the way. In addition to that, I also think it's important to kind of incorporate some of these events into maybe what you want to do. So let's say you've been really into research in undergrad and now all of a sudden you decide that, that's actually where I want to take my vet school career, is into research. So you can kind of explain your research journey and also tie that into what you want to do as a vet after vet school. Tying into my point with vulnerability comes into my tip number 2. So I think it's important to be vulnerable, but at the end of the day, you want to be vulnerable and also show a strength to you. You want to show resilience. Resilience. It is honestly, I think, one of the most important characteristics to portray as an applicant and even as a vet student, because vet school is hard. Vet school is hard. So you want to be able to show the admissions committee that you are capable of coming back from challenges, or, if life throws you a curveball, you know how to navigate that and bounce back from it. So personally, I ended up having to withdraw from a class my freshman year of undergrad. Shout out to Gen Chem. So, that's something I'm not particularly proud of, but it was definitely a challenge that I ended up overcoming. And I think that that really kind of started to shape my resilience and, how I've taken that and incorporated it into a lot of other challenges that I've encountered since freshman year of college. So, that's just my example, but I think that it is really important to show resilience. We had an entire essay on it when I was applying to Virginia, Maryland, and I'm fairly certain that that supplemental essay is still there. Okay, so tip number 3, I think it's really important to try to separate your thoughts for who is reading your personal statement, but rather why you're writing it. So try not to think about the fact that you're trying to write this for the admissions committee at your dream school, because frankly, that's intimidating and you might end up saying things that are not exactly all that relevant. For instance, we all love animals. That's a given. So it's really important to try to write this as your story and what makes you special, what makes you unique, and your kind of character traits, and a little bit less about trying to target it towards what you think the admissions committee wants to hear. You want to just simply be a strong, unique candidate yourself. So, tip number 4. I don't know if this is just me, but I have a really bad tendency when I am writing my resume or writing an application somewhere, just in general, to be humble. And it's like an unintentional thing most of the time because, we don't really usually walk around the streets bragging about ourselves. But when you're applying to things, we have this tendency to kind of be humble and to kind of think that what we've done in our experiences maybe aren't all that unique or aren't that special. But at the end of the day, they really, really are. So you may think that even though the only experience you have is in a dog and cat clinic, maybe you worked there for 5 years and you've gained a ton of experience in those 5 years. Me personally, I only worked in a small animal clinic for 1 summer. So you really need to try to get out of the headspace that even though you've maybe only worked with dogs and cats and you're worried that some people have worked with all different types of animals, it's still unique. And so you really want to channel that and try to portray how important that is in your journey and how that shaped you, going back to that, how that shaped you and maybe what you want to do in the future as well. So finally, my last tip number 5, is that I cannot emphasize this enough. Sorry, I'm clapping. I cannot emphasize this enough. So you need to have other people read this personal statement. If your family won't look at it, or if you don't want to show your friends it, that's fine. But you need to reach out to somebody and have somebody read it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have likely spelling or grammar mistakes. You might need to switch up paragraph orientation. One paragraph might work better before another one, and you actually have it placed afterwards. You really, really, really want to have at least 2 to 3 people review your personal statement. Honestly, the more the better. It's really good to have fresh eyes, and they're going to catch things that you're simply not able to catch because you've been staring at this essay, reading it for weeks. So definitely have other people look at it and, have fun with it. That's really I mentioned 5 tips, but my 6th tip is to have fun with it. This is your story. This is your journey. This is your experience. I mean, applying to vet school is scary, but it's also exciting. I want you to reach your goals, and I really, really, really want to help people get to where they want to go. Try to portray to the admissions committee what makes you strong and individualized, and at the end of the day, do have fun with it, because this is a really significant moment in your life. Applying to vet school, no matter how many times you do it, it's significant, and it really, really, really is the start of your journey into becoming a vet. So I'm so excited for all of you guys, and thank you for watching my first YouTube video. I am so excited to hopefully make more now that I am officially making my first one. My next video will be a little bit of an introduction about myself, because I know I just kind of jumped right into things. But drop any comments down below if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future videos, and hit that subscribe button if you want to support me. And I really thank you guys all for watching this video.